Welcome to Snark Marks, everybody. We're a very funny podcast out of Central Valley of California. I'm Andrew. That's Dusty.
Hey.
Follow us on all the stuff. Most important thing is subscribe to our YouTube and or follow us on your favorite podcast app just so you know about new episodes. You know, we put out clips on Instagram and stuff like that. So if you want to do that, Snark Marks Pod on Instagram. But mostly just watch our episodes. Right, Dusty?
Yeah. Leave us a comment or two. Leave us 2 comments from your main account and then also your burner account that you use, to get your enemies.
And like all the comments with the other accounts that you have.
Yeah, just a roulette wheel of one guy commenting on everything on the internet.
Man, that's what I should do. I should just make 50,000 profiles and listen to our episodes on all of them, and we can start selling ads.
Yeah, pump up the numbers.
Yeah. This is the second time that we've had to record this podcast. There were no technical difficulties.
Well, there was one glaring technical difficulty.
There was technically a difficulty, but not a technical difficulty. I got really drunk before the episode yesterday.
You sure did.
I did. I was calling people. It was a hoot.
Now,
how long did we go? Because we recorded yesterday. I just don't remember it. How long did we go?
About an hour, 45 minutes. Maybe
God
2.
damn! You must have been. You were a soldier, Dusty. I didn't.
We were. I thought like we're wobbly. We got the speed wobbles, but everything might be okay. And then when you were talking about how hard it was going to be to edit the podcast, like the 3rd or 4th time, you're like, man, I'm going to have to edit a lot of this. I was like, maybe we should call it a day.
Yeah, so. I don't know. I mean, it could be better than I thought it was, but I'm not gonna go watch it. I can tell you that. But basically, what happened is Mary and I went out to get drinks, like casual drinks, and I just got momentum, and I just kept drinking, and I think I had 3 drinks at the restaurant thing, and I had a little bit of wine when I got here, I guess.
No, I knew we were in trouble because you had a Guinness that you were drinking.
I drank that Guinness too?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a fucking idiot, dude. I'm so dumb. That's why I feel so bad today. I was just drinking everything in the barrel, Dusty.
Yeah. When I saw that we were starting and that you had what appeared to be from my eyesight a Guinness, I was like, I don't know.
It was for sure a Guinness because I remember that Guinness. I was thinking about that too. I was like, man, if I got to the wine, then that means I probably drank the Guinness that was in my fridge because I only had 1 Guinness.
Right. Well, I was like, I don't know that the center's going to hold on this thing.
No, I woke up this morning and I was like, am I going to die? Like, what's wrong with me?
I always tell, one of my major things is that everything takes longer than I think that it's going to take when I'm estimating my own time. Right. So like I'm often late to things or even late to things with my wife because I'm like, well, it shouldn't take as long as I think it'll take for me to do this errand or to go to this place or to do this thing. Right. And I always miscalculate. It always takes longer than I think. And I think the same thing can happen when you're drinking is you start drinking and then all of a sudden you're like, well, what's one more? I could have one more. I feel great right now. And then the cumulative, it hasn't had enough time to go all the way through. It's being held by the VIP rope, and then they all come in the club at the same time.
That's my problem, dude. I like I said, I get momentum, and I just keep going. When I'm a very specific type of drunk. So, we recorded. We had the same conversation we're gonna have today. We had yesterday. I wasn't there, so I'm not gonna really
I'm gonna have some of the same conversation. I think it's gonna be a mostly new conversation for you.
Oh yeah, because basically the idea today is that we're gonna build a bracket of cool kid movies, mostly from the 90s, right? Like that era.
Yeah, the 80s.
I'm okay with the 80s too.
A little bit of the 80s and a little bit of the 90s. The thing I'll say, we had a test run. Like the Wright brothers didn't build the whole plane the first time, right?
Yeah,
they had to do some tweaks. So I think I thought of a couple of tweaks based off of what we did get done last night that I think is going to help this go a little smoother.
Perfect. Did we go? Did we come to like a 12? Did we find our bracket?
I've got movies that we talked about. We didn't put anything.
An hour 45. Huh?
Yeah. We didn't put anything wholly in the canon.
All right.
But I've got some stuff that we can bounce off, and then there's still some stuff on the list to talk about.
Yeah. So the idea about this was essentially like the movies are cool, but also an important thing for me is that the kids are cool. Like when we were kids, there were movies. I don't know if kids today don't really have this. They have YouTubers who are cool, but like there's no like, hey, that's the coolest kid in the world movie that gets made anymore, because everything's either it's a Moana situation. It's like a fairy who wants to realize their womanhood, or like it's like all this weird. There's no just like, hey, this kid rides a bike and the bike has flames on it, you know?
Right. Well, there's in the 80s and 90s, they don't make these movies anymore. None of them get made. There's so many of these movies that we're talking about are incredibly high concept films, but I'm thinking a lot about things that were either A, aspirational that you hoped would happen to you, or B, were like wish fulfillment kind of films, but as a kid, where you're like, wouldn't it be so cool if X happened? And there was a movie for all of those, for all those scenarios, and they just don't make those anymore, because the movies that they make for kids now are either animated or it's based on something. Like Sonic the Hedgehog is for kids, but it's not about a kid. It's about Sonic, and his adventures. But
and a lot of the kids' movies now take themselves so seriously. There can't just be a movie about a fat camp anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
well, and maybe for the best, because a lot of the kid actors ended up their lives didn't end up so great.
Those are
so
separate,
maybe,
though. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but I'm like, maybe they don't put kids in movies so much because they're like, Hollywood's tough and it's a weird industry, and then you're 15 and you've been famous and now you have to work at AM PM or whatever.
The studio heads are like, listen, I can't put kids in movies. It's too tempting for me. Okay.
If they're a certain segment is to be believed.
If they're around, it's going to be a problem. I start sweating, itching.
But like, 90% of the Mighty Ducks kids, none of those kids, were in other movies. Then they just end up like, oh yeah, I was the goalie in Mighty Ducks 3 for the other team, and now I have to work at a car rental place.
But hey, if not for that movie, he would just be working at a car rental place. He wouldn't be able to say that he was on Team Iceland or whatever.
Yeah, he might not have his headshot at a deli, the local deli that he works at, or So I don't want to take it away. I'm just saying they don't make any movie like this anymore. Any of the movies that we talk about now, essentially don't exist anymore.
Yeah, and it bums me out. Like, I don't think they need to make them like they were chucking. They were putting these out like crazy. I don't need one every 3 months. I don't even need one anymore. I'm 34 goddamn years old, but I think kids might want them.
Right. But everybody's, it's all YouTube and TikTok now.
They're ticking and they're talking and they're YouTubing and
the old man yells at cloud.
They're like, the kids will be watching it going, oh wow, these kids are allowed outside.
Right.
They're the coolest kids ever.
Yeah. I ran Dickety 6 miles after the Kaiser who stole our number for 20.
Yeah, there was an onion under my belt because that was the style at the time.
That was the fashion of the time. Even a fighting hellfish, like that episode of The Simpsons is in the same vein of a lot of these movies. So, but also speaking about this, yesterday, Andrew, I went and watched a documentary about Led Zeppelin called Becoming Led Zeppelin.
Hell yeah, dude.
And it follows them from all 4 members from their early life through the end of Led Zeppelin 2. So like 1970, right? And they have an interview with John Bonham like archival interview that had
where
never
where he's
that
calling his brother and he's bringing his girlfriend on the podcast and
right. He
he's
keeps talking about how he'll drive to Fresno to fist fight his friend.
apparently
Uh,
Mary told me that I was doing that to everybody last night
yeah,
because I
you
got on
were.
and played video games with my friends and I kept I kept threatening to drive there to beat
I
them up.
I don't know
But
what your
everybody, for the record,
what underlying rage lies inside of you, but yeah, you get a little too tipsy. You start talking about how you're gonna fight everybody.
I think
Uh,
I got like I think what happened was that was like just a bit that I thought was funny that I just kept doing to everybody because she's like you weren't doing it like mad at people like you just
right.
kept telling everybody you were gonna drive to wherever they are and beat them up and
And
fight
fight
them in a
him.
parking lot.
Yeah, fight him in the street, challenge him in the street. Yeah. Uh, but they had like an archival interview with John Bonham that had never been heard before. And
Yeah.
so that they kind of spliced that kind of stuff in. But it had my favorite story or my favorite type of story that both of us love in these kind of documentaries where it's like, how did anybody learn how to play anything? Like there's no tutorials, there's no tabs, there's no
Yeah.
anything. And it was Jimmy Page being like, a kid at my school, I heard him playing a song that was on the radio. And I came over and I was like, hey, I have a guitar. And the kid was like, bring it tomorrow. I'll show you how to tune it. And then I'll teach you how to play this song. And that's what launched Jimmy Page
Yeah.
into becoming one of the greatest guitar players of all time. And it reminds me of that Paul McCartney quote we always
That's
talk
what I was
about,
thinking about.
where he's like, so some kid learned an A suspended 2 towns over, so he's got to take the bus tomorrow to go learn that chord
He
from
gets
that
on the
kid.
bus to learn a chord from a kid that he heard learned a new chord.
Yeah, some other kid in some other town that knows one more guitar thing than he knows, and now he's got to go over there to learn it.
That's so stupid. Like with now, literally immediately, like it's
Yeah,
that Pete Holmes bit. Like the amount of time between knowing and not knowing is so brief that knowing feels exactly like not knowing.
yeah, exactly. It's that didn't have to be earned in any way, or it has to be earned less now, which has its benefits, but also the stories aren't as quaint, because me and my buddy who saw the movie, we're watching footage. There's like footage of John Bonham when he's a kid playing drums, like some crappy little drum set with one cymbal. And we're like, who taught him how to do any of the stuff that he learned how to do? Because by the time he's 19, he's in Led Zeppelin doing all the chops that he learned.
It was
And it's,
probably some like blind black dude that he knew.
yeah, it's like in post-war bombed out England,
Yeah.
who's teaching him how to play,
His name was Styx, and
yeah, it was for a nickel and a pint, he'd teach you a triplet,
yeah, and I never saw him again. Word has it, he invented Pugadas.
Yeah. There's they tell a story about they went on tour with their first American tour. They went on tour with a band called Vanilla Fudge, which is a dope name for a band. But the
Vanilla Fudge.
the
It's
drum
almost a gross name. It's almost I
right,
feel weird about it.
it walks the line.
Yeah.
But their drummer was named Carmine Appice, I believe is how you say the last name. And this dude's dope. Like he's a great drummer. But he said they said that him and Bonham used to watch each other every night, and they would just learn each other's like licks. Like, oh, he's doing this thing. I'm gonna learn how to do that. And if you listen to the beginning of Led Zeppelin 1 in the first song, John Bonham does this thing called a bass drum, like it's a bass drum triplet, which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's super hard to do. But Carmine came up to him and was like, hey man, where'd you learn how to do that? And he goes, well, I learned it from listening to your record. I heard you do it. And he goes, I'm not doing that. whatever you thought you heard, that's not a thing that I was doing. And so Bonham thought that he heard it, and then he taught himself how to do something that wasn't even learned yet. And then everybody else has been trying to emulate that for 50 years.
It's all that absinthe, dude. Like,
yeah.
You get drunk enough, you make some real magic.
Yeah, you feel the
I didn't
rhythms,
get quite that drunk last night,
yeah.
but
you got to find the sweet spot. But it was a cool documentary. It had a lot of footage that like I've seen, but the interviews were new, and then they did have some like performance stuff that I'd never seen. So it was
cool.
pretty good. Yeah,
nice.
But it reminded me, like those latchkey kid sort of stories that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah,
From bygone eras.
It's a big the analog world. Like a kid in an analog world is a fun thing, right? Like I used to live in a house in the middle of an olive grove, and I would just go outside and throw a tennis ball against the wall for like 3 hours. You know,
Right. Well, you sound like you're in the Great Depression when you tell that story, but
well, that's true.
yeah, you had a Great Depression when you were.
I did have a Great
Yeah.
Depression. We had a dog that was chained to a tree that I'd go visit every once in a while.
Yeah, I wonder if the reason they don't make those kind of these kind of movies anymore is because like kids couldn't relate to it now because it's not like the same experience, because like I can't relate to the things that happen in these movies, but I understand some of it. When I was a kid, some of it rang true, and then something outrageous happens, and then that's a movie.
Yeah. Yeah, the kid culture is completely different now. And
Yeah.
but I'm glad we have these like I'm going to show some of these movies to my kids,
Yeah. Luckily we have the classics.
When I buy them eventually at a swap meet.
Yeah, once they're synthetic and you can just order them.
Yeah,
and
I can get rid of them when I want to. You can just
Yeah,
turn them
yeah.
off when you want to go on vacation.
All right. So, do you want me to go over the stuff that we kind of talked about last night, and we could go from there, or how do you want to? How do you want to? Oh, my fix or my thought is, I think we should do 12 movies.
Okay.
Where we have 4 movies that get a first round bye, right?
Okay.
But I think we should limit ourselves. I think because there's 2 distinct types of movies that I think we're ending up talking about, which is sports movies that have kids as the main characters, and then like outrageous adventure kid movies, So I think we should go 6 of each of those to make the bracket, the whole bracket.
I'm okay with that. And I mean, you're going to be leading the way mostly on this because I have like a handful in my pocket. I want to show you what my last night.
I think you should show yourself what the notepad says.
My notepad says 3 gingers and the slan lot.
Yeah.
Just letting you know. That's
yeah.
That's what we were working with. So, I mean, we could start with 3 gingers if you want.
Yeah. So the number one pick, I think, or the number one thing that comes to mind to me is 3 Ninjas. That's what this genre of movie basically is to me.
Yes, and it's got a lot of the tropes. It's got brothers, so it hits multiple demographics. It hits the young kids and the old kids.
Yep. Well, and you've got the older responsible brother, the middle like kind of mad brother, and then the chubby little brother. And so you got all your archetypes covered. Every kid can relate to one of those kids.
Yes,
right.
Absolutely.
In 3 Ninjas.
And you've also got karate, which is huge.
Like you've often said, karate became ubiquitous in the early 90s,
It was the coolest thing in the world for some reason. So like everybody thought karate was the deadliest form of martial art. If you knew karate, you'd have to register your hands as lethal weapons. God damn it!
Push somebody's nose bone into their brain.
And then it's also got sports though, because they have the basketball scene.
Yeah, where they spot the bullies 9 points in a 10-point game, and these are like almost adults that they're playing. Like these dudes can dunk.
Yeah.
And then 3 Ninjas are like, it's not a problem for us.
They know karate. They're karate basketball players.
It's got wise old character. The grandpa is the wise old, the wise old man.
They've got a cool room. Because that's a big part. That's a big part of these movies is a cool room.
Oh man, I was like, they have a trampoline in their room, and then they have like the light switch that turns off the Super Nintendo, so that like if they're playing it after they're supposed to be in bed, it's just a one switch thing. They have the light. They have the light that's for the intruders.
Yeah, there's a mask with isn't a mask with the eyes light up, or is it just a light?
I think it's just a light.
But it might be either way. When somebody's coming, a light turns on and lets them know that somebody's coming. They could talk to their girlfriend with the cans and the wire.
Yeah. It's also got inept inept
Burglars.
thugs.
Yep.
Yeah, inept
Thugs.
thugs is a big part of a lot of these movies.
They
So
take they
like,
take them out with laxative.
yeah, they well, and it's got a kind of Home Alone thing to it,
Yeah.
because they've got like the house that has the one room that's being remodeled, so they can do all the traps in there, and then they give them it's not Imodium, it's the opposite of Imodium, to like make them all have diarrhea. And that
Yeah.
one guy's classic line, "Not in the stomach, little dude."
Yeah.
uh,
That dude
so
stole the show, man. That guy was
yeah,
great.
so I think that's definitely on the
Oh, Three
adventure
Ninjas
kids.
has to make this one. Has
Yeah,
to make the list. Yeah, and it's a little bit of both, but I would go adventure more than anything because they're ninjas. They fight ninjas.
yeah, they get kidnapped, and then they have to fight their way off of like a ship, where another trope in all these movies is the bad guys all have guns, and
And
yet,
none of them shoot the kids.
yeah, and yet the kids prevail.
When we did the Three Ninjas for Refund Theater, Jacob and I were watching it, and every time the kids should have been shot, Jacob and I would just start going bang 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 bang
Yeah.
bang bang.
Oh man, he popped out of the closet with a nunchuck. Bang, 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 bang,
Bang, bang,
bang.
bang, 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 bang. Movie's over.
Yeah,
The kid's dead.
yeah, so Three Ninjas, I think that's definitely one. We didn't really talk about it. We brought it up a little bit. I think in the same vein, we would be irresponsible if we didn't talk about Surf Ninjas.
Yeah, man. Freaking Rob Schneider. Money can't buy knives.
Money Can't Buy Knives. And the thing about this one is it's a little, I guess Three Ninjas is good. It's super goofy, but like there's some legitimate danger to Three Ninjas. Like the bad guys seem menacing, but in Surf Ninjas, it's a little sillier. Like
Isn't it what's his name? The
Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen is
Yeah.
the bad guy in this movie.
And one of the kids has the little Game Boy that predicts the future.
Yep.
Somehow there's another thing. A lot of these movies, there's some element of magical realism
Yeah.
to them. Like, I don't remember how he has the Game Boy that sees the future, but I was like, how sick is that? When I was like 10, like,
Yeah,
what a cool thing.
I think he just realizes it. I don't know if there's like a special way he gets it. I can't remember. I haven't seen Surf Ninjas in a long time.
Yeah, but like
Where's
everybody
the place
has
that they go Patusan, I think is where they go.
Everybody's got a special power, and
they end up being they are the royal heirs to the throne of Patusan.
Right, and they didn't know.
Yeah, and Leslie Nielsen is running Patusan, so they have to go.
Yeah, and it's
take care of that.
I think he gets electrocuted in a pool at the end or something.
He does.
Yeah.
And I think something happens in the nuts too. He gets hit in the nuts with something. There's always nut shots.
Oh yeah. The dummy that they practice on in Three Ninjas, his eyes light up whenever they hit him in the nuts. Yeah. That's the kill shot. So
Colonel Chi is Leslie Nielsen.
Oh, that's rough for old Leslie Nielsen. I just bought they had it on sale digitally, so I just bought all 3 Naked Gun movies for $10. And I'm so excited to go back and watch them, because I remember that being like the funniest thing that I'd ever seen.
Yeah, those movies
like,
are for me, for sure.
After I'd graduated a little bit from this, and I'll tell you the cutoff of movies for me for this kind of genre, then it was like, oh, Leslie Nielsen's hilarious in this whole other genre of movie.
Yeah.
Like in the Zucker
it's a
Brothers
whole
and all that.
different genre of movie. Yeah, I mean, Surf Ninjas has Moto Surf. They're surfing on top of the car. Remember that?
Oh yeah. Oh man.
That's a big. Those are cool. Those guys are cool.
That's Top Shelf Cool Guy. Yeah.
And you've got older brother and younger brother.
Are there only? Oh yeah, because there's only 2 brothers and then Rob Schneider.
And Rob Schneider, yeah.
Yeah.
For some, he is not, as you know, he. I believe, right? He is. It doesn't end up that he's like the guy who's supposed to have Patusan, right? No,
he's their friend. This also has Ernie Reyes Jr., who was one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the live action Ninja Turtles, but can you see the poster for Surf Ninjas right now?
Of course I can. Yes.
Look at Leslie Nielsen, dude.
Well, and Rob Schneider
Yeah.
holding like a katana. Holding that's not a katana. I can't remember what that particular weapon is called.
uh
Like a scythe
87
or
minutes,
something.
dude. Right in the sweet spot for you.
Right in the pocket, dude. What are you
Yeah.
gonna do? You gonna make it longer than that? You can't make Surf Ninjas 88 minutes, dude.
Yeah. Oh man,
Rob
the film
Schneider,
was,
man.
believe it or not, received generally unfavorable reviews by critics. Can you believe
Yeah,
it?
see, that's the thing about that shit is like, what? Okay, what about the reviews from 9-year-olds? Like
Right. What?
the
Who's it
people who
for?
this movie was made for.
Yeah, I would have given, if I had a Rotten Tomatoes back then, Surf Ninjas would have got 10 out of 10, 100%. I had a great time.
I was it was a Sega Game Gear.
Oh yeah, that he can see the future
So
in.
this thing was basically, and I think Jacob's told us this before, that the Sega partially financed the film so they could sell Game Gears.
Well, and there was a video. There's supposed to be a video game tie-in
Yeah,
too. So that's
but yeah.
oh
I mean,
man, it was released on the Amiga 1200 computer. I wonder how
hell yeah,
long
dude.
those things lasted, dude. Imagine
Oh,
you
yeah.
bought an Amiga in 1993,
Dude,
and
I
you're
bought
like,
a
that'll do it.
I bought a Dreamcast like a month before they stopped making games. It was sick.
And a Zune. You're the prime market for the Amiga.
Dude, Zunes were sick. Like
You're bet.
I stand hard on Zunes. Like I think people are missing the boat on that one. They were a little big.
If you were more into movies back in the day, you would have definitely been a dude that got Betamax. You'd be like, the lines
It's
of
the future.
yeah, I'm betting on Betamax. There's so many more lines of resolution. Uh, you
son
scream
of a
as
bitch.
they throw you over a cliff.
But what about the resolution?
Well, what? Will no one think about the resolution?
Are we is Surf Ninjas going on the ultimate list?
I think it should go in the probable.
Yeah, we'll put them
Like
in the probable
big
bucket.
time in the probable. I think Surf Ninjas definitely in, or Three Ninjas definitely in, right?
How about the Goonies?
Yeah, I think like I don't think the Goonies is the first one of these. I don't think, but it's like it is the version of it that everybody wants, you know.
Yeah, the
Like
tough thing about that for me is the only thing that I have against the Goonies in this particular list is none of it. Did we think those kids were cool?
I mean, they're dorks,
Yeah,
but I think it's aspirational. Like like you're like, oh man, wouldn't it be great if me and my friends
yeah.
found a
Had to find a
fucking
pirate treasure.
yeah, we had to fight weird street toughs and their mom, uh,
And
and
their
like
their
and they
mentally
got
challenged pet.
yeah, and we got to meet like a big giant guy that became our friend. You know, we got to save the town because like a lot
We
of
saw a
these
skeleton.
yeah, like the kids that are the protagonists in a lot of these movies weren't the cool ones. They were up against the snooty kind of the land developer. I think is the bad guy in Goonies.
Yeah,
You know, he wants to take the town over and build condos or
yeah.
whatever, and it's up to the Goonies to save the day. So, and there's the kid with all of the little inventions that he's made.
Data.
Who's the Data, yeah, and then Josh Brolin. Josh Brolin's cool. Like
He's
he's
kind of
lifting.
cool, but he's like the dickhead brother. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah, but he
I
comes
think
he like he ends up saving the day in the end. He comes around.
yeah, I do think the Goonies deserves to be on this, but I just wanted to put that out there. Like, nobody thinks
Yeah.
Mouth is cool. Like, I
No,
don't think so, at least.
they're right, but it's like in Stranger Things,
I
it's the
guess
same
Mikey's
thing.
cool.
Like the archetypes aren't the cool kids, but they end up being the kids the adventure's about, you know.
Yeah,
And I think that I think as a kid, I always end up thinking like, what if I did find a big ass pirate ship just in my town for some reason, like buried in the cove, you know?
see, I watched it as a kid, and I was like, I think I'm going to become a land developer.
Yeah, it seems like this land developments. This guy's rich as hell. When I was a kid, one of our field trips in school was we went to do gold panning, like gold, but like
Yeah.
And
That's so stupid. We did that too.
I remember having daydreams of like, what if I find
Like a
like,
bunch of gold, like a
yeah,
big
like
ass thing of
gold
gold.
for some reason, gold that everybody else missed.
Yeah,
Can you imagine? And I was like, that's what I'm gonna do.
that's
I
some.
will leave this day with enough gold to take me and my family out of this trailer park that we currently live in. And then I got chicken pox and I couldn't even go on the gold mine.
Oh
That
man, you would have. How different history would have been. You wouldn't be sitting here with me probably.
no, yeah, I would. I'd
Wouldn't
be
be
much
working at
richer.
that bank.
I wouldn't even know what a podcast was. I'd be so disconnected from regular society
So rich you
that
don't know about podcasts.
yeah, I don't need
All
it.
I know,
You
all
know,
I know is jets
yeah.
because of that chunk of gold that I
Uh,
found.
the only thing I know about podcasts is what my the crypto guys that explain it to me say to me about it.
Yeah, I heard
You
Joe
know,
Rogan does one of those things,
yeah, that's
and I like him a lot.
I would probably just be that guy that we used to see on WWE all the time that was at
The guy,
every event for
he's
some
still there.
reason.
The guy's
Yeah,
in the front row center, dude. I don't
yeah,
know what's going on.
that's I
Green
would
shirt.
just green shirt with his mom, long
I'm gonna
hair,
drive down there and fight him in the parking lot.
and take all his tickets for future events.
Yeah.
Like he must be independently wealthy, or I don't know a guy, you know that.
No, or he's like part of the WWE or something like that. But
Yeah,
I think he's probably just I mean, it's crazy that he gets that ticket every time though. Like,
right. He's always on the hard camera side,
yeah.
just in the middle. Uh, yeah,
So I'm
I
okay
think
with. I think the Goonies is in.
yeah, I because the Goonies is the sort of an archetype of what this whole
Yeah,
genre of movie
yeah.
is, you know. So
It's
I
like the
think it.
ultimate adventure kid movie. So I think the Goonies is in.
Now I want to bring one up. You did text your brother drunkenly last night to ask him what he thought of this movie. I don't know that Jacob replied to you, but I don't think you've ever seen this movie.
Who knows, bro? Who knows if I actually texted my brother?
You might,
Oh,
yeah,
the Wizard.
yeah, the Wizard.
Yeah, he texted me this morning and said, "Yes, one of my favorites. That's in the
Yeah,
'80s."
that's so. The Wizard is a story of a kid that doesn't talk. Fred Savage is his brother. Fred Savage, Ben Savage, one of those boys.
Fred is
Fred.
Fred is Little Monsters.
I
Ben is Boy Meets World.
I think it's Fred Savage. But he and his brother who doesn't talk go on a cross country journey
And he's
because
Fred.
his brother is a savant at Nintendo games. He could play every
Yeah.
Nintendo game, and
Jacob's told me about this movie before.
yeah, and he rocks at it. And as a kid, I was like, this is the coolest shit that there could be. Yeah. Like he goes across country, and then the movie was funded in some way by Nintendo.
He's got his power glove on.
Yeah, it's Nintendo, so they have all the real games, and they're showing you like, hey, here's Ninja Gaiden, and here's Road Rash, and all this shit, and then they get to the tournament, and that's where they unveiled in the movie that there was going to be a Super Mario Brothers 3. And I can't tell you the excitement on the streets, the buzz that there was that Super Mario 3 existed and that Mario could fly. And that's the streets were a buzzing with it, you know.
If you want to buy the Wizard on Laserdisc, it is like $300 to $400 on eBay.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's particularly good. Like it's just an excuse to show video games.
Yeah,
But like they have the cool kid in this movie is a kid they encounter at a truck stop, and he has a power glove.
yeah.
And you're like, oh shit, you know. And then a friend of mine had a power glove, never worked. It was the shittiest accessory.
We had one. It was stupid.
It was the worst accessory for Nintendo. But this kid's power glove worked awesome, and he could like control the Road Rash.
That would be very funny if in their own movie the power glove doesn't work.
Yeah, they were like, we don't know. We're just throwing out whatever peripherals we got, you know. It's kind of a chase movie because the kids, I think they're hitchhiking or something, and so the parents have to try to head them off at the pass.
Yeah,
you know, and it's got all of those kid things, plus it's about Nintendo and Super Mario Brothers. So that's like It doesn't have to go on the list, but I felt like it had to be talked about.
I'm
You
okay
know,
with putting it on the probable. I've never seen the movie, so that would have
right?
to be. There's going to be a couple that I'm going to have to just have you
Decide if they're
decide.
yeah.
What about? I can't believe I wrote this Sandlot. What about Rad? Rad, I also haven't seen, but it's
I
Jacob's like favorite movie of all time.
I unfortunately have also never seen Rad,
Okay,
but
maybe we.
I'd like to uphold the decision we made last night,
Oh,
which
we
was
made
to
it.
put Rad on the list,
Okay.
where we both promised to watch Rad.
Okay, that's funny because I was gonna do that, and I also was gonna. Great minds
As
think alike. Me and
as
my drunk self.
yeah, as Jacob's pick, because we trust his opinion, and Jacob's a genius, and so
Yeah, he's the
he
man.
yeah, so we're putting this in his stead because this is one that he would nominate.
Yeah,
So
and the
we
other
should
ones
put it on
that
the list.
the other ones that he told me were Camp Nowhere, Problem Child 1 and 2, and Blank Check.
I was not allowed to watch Problem Child
I never saw
because
it either.
the kid was too bad. He was too problematic.
Hell yeah, dude.
uh, like in the first 10 minutes, I think he said shit or something or called a kid a bitch. And my mom was like, nope, we're not doing it. Or
Yeah.
he called his dad a son of a bitch or something. And she would not allow for Problem Child to be played in the house. So
Okay.
Camp Nowhere is a good one. That's Christopher Lloyd. And it's one of those things where we talked about earlier. I think they make up all these kids show up and there's no camp. And so they get to make their own, they kind of make up their own thing.
Oh yeah,
And it's
that's
like,
a wouldn't it be cool movie.
right. And it's as a kid, you're like, could you imagine like if we just showed up? I think is generally the plot of Camp Nowhere.
We get to just make our own camp.
Yeah, and there's no there's no grown-ups to bother us. Like
We have monkey butlers.
yeah, and a coconut Nintendo system. Let's see. I'm looking up the plot of Camp Nowhere just to make sure that I've got some of it correct.
The plots on hold on. The plots on Wikipedia are always so long.
Yeah. Yeah, they hatch a plan to create their own summer camp with no parents, no counselors, no rules. And then all the other kids hear about it from the main kid whose idea it is, and then they all join in. And then they blackmail the drama teacher into helping, who I assume is Christopher Lloyd. So he's got to go be the one adult trying to supervise all these kids while they're just in the woods.
See, I'm bummed I missed this movie because I feel like I would have loved this movie.
Oh yeah, it's it's talking in a big way to Heavyweights. You know, the vibes are very similar.
Yeah.
To Heavyweights.
Well, which one came out first?
I think
1994. Camp Nowhere.
Camp Nowhere is 94. That's also
Heavyweights is 95.
Yeah, but that's also 94 is the year Surf Ninjas comes out. Like they were cranking these things out, dude.
When does Three Ninjas come out? Three Ninjas 92, dude. What a run.
Yeah, they're yeah, so the Camp Nowhere is a good pull. I think that Heavyweights means more to the both of us, and we both seen Heavyweights.
Yeah, I mean Heavyweights.
Right, it's on the all-time list.
You got Lars.
Yeah.
You got Ben Still, Tony Perkis. I'm feeling skinny, Tony.
It's like that's the another like the underdogs end up winning in the end. You know, the kids from the fat camp. He gets to do the go-kart, and he ends up beating the camp, whatever the other camp is called.
I can't remember what the skinny camp's name is.
Yeah, the cool kid camp gets beat by the Heavyweights camp.
Dude, I was a kid going, I can't wait to be part of that cool kid camp.
And I was on the other side as a chubby little guy, being like, man, it'd be cool if I could be on that the thing that Lars ends up stabbing, whatever that big balloon.
Blob.
Yeah, the blob where it can shoot you into the air and you feel like you're flying. I
Lars
was like,
screams, "Die!" when he stabs it.
he's and what does he say when he snores? He's
When I
do not be alarmed.
when I what does he say when I am sleeping? I make a very disturbing sound. Do not be alarmed.
Yeah.
I am fine.
A deli meat. That's
Deli meat.
another one of your favorite.
There's some all-time lines in that. Lunch has been canceled today due to a lack of hustle.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
we're gonna take that hill. Let's do it. Yeah, I think heavyweights. Well, I think we give a shout out to Camp Nowhere, but we put heavyweights in.
Yeah, and I would like to see Camp Nowhere at some point, but it's hard to beat heavyweights, man.
Yeah. Camp Nowhere has the same vibes. I don't know if you ever watched Accepted with Justin Long and Jonah Hill. That's like the college
We're
version of
shitheads now, and we'll be shitheads forever.
Yeah, that's Accepted is Camp Nowhere, but for college.
Yeah.
They make up their own college and they get to do whatever they want.
Nowhere University.
Yeah.
Does heavyweights go under sports or adventure?
I think heavyweights goes under adventure.
Okay, we'll go adventure.
Or we might have to we might have to take another look at the list,
because a little from column A, a little from column B. Well,
right.
All right, we go sports. Mighty Ducks.
Well, here's a conversation I was trying to engage you with last night, but I don't think you were happy. No, it's okay. Is it Mighty Ducks 1 or is it Mighty Ducks 2? It's 2.
It's
right?
2. I love 1. 1's good. Like, 1's a good movie. It's part 2. Iceland.
The Icelandic copy. You lost it for yourself.
Yeah. Gunnar, you lost it for me. You lost it for yourself.
The knuckle puck. Knuckle
puck. I can read, man. That says Rodeo Drive.
when the chickens are crowing and the cows are in the pasture.
He goes when the roosters are crowing and the cows are spinning circles in the pasture.
Ducks fly together.
And when everyone says it can't be done, ducks fly together. Oh man. Fuck, bro.
Julie the cat. There's the kid who can't stop, who can skate really fast, but he doesn't know how to stop.
Rodriguez.
Yeah, they have that's the sports version of these movies. They have the montage where everybody's training and there's a song, and
we'll get to work together. Come on, let's work together.
Yeah. The Bash Bros.
The Bash Bros. We had some real life Bash Bros in the United States. Did you see that recently?
I did. I know you're a big hockey guy now.
Big hockey guy now. I'm trying to pick a team. I'm a free agent, getting in that market. But
Seattle Kraken, dude.
I like some stick, bro. I'm a big stick guy.
Yeah.
No, I got to do a California team, man. I'm sick of the Yankees are my team in baseball. They are maybe the furthest team away from me in the major leagues. Yeah. I need a team that I can actually go watch in person.
The Sharks, dude. They have that dope ass logo where the Sharks biting the hockey stick in half.
It's pretty sick. I'm leaning Ducks because Quack.
Right. They fly together.
The closest one to me is the LA Kings. I don't know yet. I gotta figure it out. I need them to put together some sort of package for me.
Right. Like they're pitching you the Olympics.
Yeah, for my fandom.
Yeah, I think Mighty Ducks 2. Also, the first time I ever heard We Are the Champions. Being a sheltered kid at the end, the kids playing it at the fire.
First time too.
At the fire, playing it on acoustic guitar, and I was like, "This song kind of rips."
Also, very cool. They were very cool at that campfire after they won the junior hockey Olympics or whatever they did.
Well, and you have to have the moment of crisis. They get beat, and then everybody's down, and that's when they meet the street hockey team, and those guys pump them back up.
Yeah, and the rich kid gets hurt, so we have to we've got that going on.
Yeah.
Coach Bombay gets way too far up his own ass and stops being Coach Bombay.
He's trying to hook up with the
Iceland trainer.
Yeah, the Iceland trainer, and then
he has his own signature shoe.
Yeah, the Gordon Bombay. To imagine that junior Olympic hockey reached a level where the coach had a shoe,
like a signature loafer.
Yeah, like they didn't have a Phil Jackson jersey. You
No,
know, he won 6 rings with the Bulls. They were never like, "Here's Phil Jackson's clipboard that you could buy, his brand of clipboard."
his giant suit.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Uh,
Mighty Ducks Part 2, shoe in. It's got to be
yeah,
on
yeah.
there. 1 and 3 are good. Number 2 is the one.
Yeah, I think in the same vein, like, Rookie of the Year
Yeah,
has to be on here because that's another, like, think about the premise of that movie. A kid in Little League slips on a ball and cracks his shoulder, and now he can throw straight Gase. and,
Gates, fucking
and
Gates, bro.
and the Chicago Cubs sign him
A 12-year-old.
for the summer
Yeah,
to play professional baseball.
yeah.
And his kid and his mom's cool with it, and the school is cool, and the players union, everybody signs off. Oh yeah, but who cares? It's great. And he's got like the shitty side plot where he's trying to build a stupid ass boat with his friends.
With his
Well,
friends.
and for some reason he doesn't have money, even though he's in the bigs now, to like help get the boat together.
His friends don't understand that he's not the same guy anymore.
Yeah.
But they don't understand. It's weird that they don't understand it because, hey guys, he's a 12-year-old pitching in the major leagues.
Yeah, that's
Like maybe
uh
he's not gonna have as much time to build that boat with you. You
right.
freaking selfish
He
twerps.
unfortunately can't hang out quite as much. Gary Busey, all-time performance by Busey. Uh
Oh, dude, all-time performance by Busey, but also David Stern, man.
Daniel
The
Stern. David
Daniel
Stern's
Stern,
the
the
NBA
NBA
commissioner.
commissioner.
Yeah.
Commissioner
Not
Stern
seen.
really killed it on this
Yeah,
one.
not seen in Rookie of the Year, but
But no, Daniel Stern, bro,
and
he's choking on sunflower seeds. He's hitting foul balls off the top of his head.
let the
Let
big
the
dog
big
eat.
dog eat. Huh.
He gets trapped in the doorway between the two hotel doors.
Yep,
He directed that movie. Did you know
I
that?
know. I found
I
that out like a couple months ago.
I
He
didn't know
directed
for
it.
years. And he's
Yeah, I
like,
didn't
I
either.
was trying to figure out bits where I could get myself trapped so that I could be off screen for a good reason, so I could, direct the movie.
Yeah,
But it's like, uh, yeah, it's the ultimate. Man, could you imagine if that happened to me? Like,
yeah. Well,
I
it's the
could.
same thing as that's the conversation we have to have. Rookie of the year or Little Big League.
There might be space for both. I
Because
think
Little
we're.
Big League kid gets to manage the Minnesota Twins.
How does that happen? Is he let?
His
Is it the
his
will?
uh his grandpa owns the Twins. His grandpa dies. His grandpa leaves him the Twins. It's like King Tut was king when he was like 12. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Um, and
It's
then
there's no law. There's nothing on the books that says a dog can't play basketball. It's that
yeah,
rule where it's
it's
like
exactly.
nothing says a 12-year-old can't run the major league baseball team.
Their coach's name I believe was Brigma, something like that. But my favorite thing about uh, the coach is very funny. He plays that very well. But they have a a relief pitcher who throws really fast. They call him Blackout,
Mhm.
and he's in a bullpen, and the coach walks up to him. He's like something about his curveball. He's like, as a matter of fact, I hate your curveball. You want to know why? Because the damn thing don't curve. He's like, when that guy over there puts one finger down, you throw the ball as hard as you can. And then he gets fired. And then so he replaces the coach with him because this kid's like a big baseball whiz. Like his grandpa used to always like. It's the movie starts with he's playing in a game and he's not very good.
Right.
But he's playing in a game, and 3 guys end up at third base at the same time. And the umpire doesn't know what to do, so he asks Billy Haywood, who's playing in the game, what the rule is. And so that like shows you, oh, this kid's a baseball wizard,
Right.
Yeah.
He's the first guy to think of Moneyball.
Yeah.
That's they remake it, and he's the first guy to come up with analytics for baseball. It's like, well, there's only two true outcomes, and he's
That would be
12
that
years
would be
old.
super annoying. Like that's how they would do it, is like make it really boring. Like he
Yeah.
figures out the two true outcomes, or he figures out he's the guy who came up with war.
Yeah. um, so Little Big League isn't one of my movies. I know it's one of yours. So if
I'm
you're
putting in probable
okay,
because I think
uh,
there's a lot to do. I would say honestly, I think Little Big League might be a better movie than Rookie of the Year, because I think it's I don't know. Because I think some of the joke writing is like in Rookie of the Year is very good. Like there's some really good actual jokes in that movie.
yeah,
I mean, in Little Big League, in Rookie of the Year, it's more kind of slapsticky
yeah,
jokes, which are still good, you know. But if you ask 100 people on the street, I think Rookie of the Year more people know than
yeah.
Little Big League. So
That's
I'll accept that.
um, we got to talk about Blank Check.
I saw it as a kid. Don't remember it. I
Kid
must
gets
have been
hit.
hammered.
Kid gets hit by a car, and a guy's on a way to a meeting, so he just writes a check to this kid, but he leaves the amount blank. And so the kid uses a
What an,
typewriter to type in like $1 million or whatever, right? And
yeah.
working in the banking
It's
industry,
with kid math. He was like, "Oh, I could give myself as much as I want, $100."
right? Can you imagine? I never run out of $100.
Yeah. How many
The
Slurpees I could buy?
well, working at a bank, I find this premise now highly dubious. But
Yeah,
uh,
that would be. They'd figure that shit out right quick.
yeah, that's check fraud. But so then he of course does what every kid would do. He buys like he's at a mansion, and I don't know where his parents are. His parents might be dead. Who knows?
I would be.
But
There'd be signs if I was a kid and I got a bunch of money. You know how people like. I'm riding my bike around and there's a Honus Wagner card like flipping around in the spokes.
yeah, that's
Most expensive baseball card of all time.
it makes it sound like I'm riding a motorcycle. You see,
Yeah, you see.
they think a dude in a motorcycle's coming.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
just me, the richest kid in the world.
94. A 94 movie. He
When did Rookie of the Year come out? Did they just have like a 2-year run where all these movies were made?
yeah, it's because of a movie that we're gonna have to talk about in a second.
Rookie of the Year was 93.
Yeah,
I bet Little Big League was a little later than that. Little Big League 94. Jesus Christ, dude. They made all these movies in 2 years between 92 and 94.
Yeah. It's
what a run.
He has to use an alias to cash the $1 million. So maybe that's how they get around it. But and he uses, of course, a computer program from his brother to do all his transactions because people didn't know how computers work.
Computer program,
yeah.
yeah.
That's and
Preston Waters is a cool name.
Yeah, that's of course
that's his name.
Yeah, cool. But he buys those big metal cylinders from American Gladiators that you can get in, like to have at his house, and he's got like every toy you can imagine and every cool thing, and he lives, now he's got a mansion. So again, as a kid, like you're just like, this is the coolest thing that could happen. Could you imagine if suddenly I had $1 million, the amount of Super Nintendo games that I would buy?
Okay, well, what about 1994 Richie Rich?
That's the other. These are in a similar vein. I watched Richie Rich so many times.
So did I. I watched the shit out of it, and I don't remember. Like
he has a McDonald's. He has a McDonald's in his house.
Hell yeah, dude.
And this one has the plot contrivance of Richie Rich is uncool.
Jesus Christ, dude! I'm gonna kill this cat, bro.
The police heard how drunk you were and just knocked your door down.
I am too hung. That's like, dude, the cookies, bro. Hobbs, get down, dude. Son of a. Oh, he's not gonna get down. He's not gonna get
down. Richie Rich, it has the plot thing where Richie Rich is lonely because he's so rich, but he can't buy friends, right? So his butler takes him to like the real streets, and he ends up playing baseball with a bunch like shitty kids from the city, and then they become his friends. But they
Yeah.
like he brings them to the house, and he's got the McDonald's in the house that's ready. That's like a full stocked McDonald's at all times.
Hell yeah, dude.
And
I remember loving this movie. I just don't
oh
remember it very
yeah,
well.
John Larroquette is the bad guy that wants to steal all the money uh from his family, and then his parents are redoing Mount Rushmore in their own image. Like they're
Yeah, I
lasering
forgot
it.
about that.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
so that the dad can and the dad in this movie is great. He's one of those actors where if you saw his face,
No,
you,
that's like I remembered him when I said Richie Rich. I remembered him before I remembered that Macaulay Culkin is in this movie. Like I
yeah,
love this guy. He was in Gilmore Girls too. His name's Edward Herman. Two R's, two
yeah,
N's. I don't know what's going on with that, but that creeps me out. But yeah, unfortunately passed away in 2014. Did not know he was
it's
dead.
we stand a legend as long
He
as he
was
didn't do
good,
anything
man.
terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
uh,
Quick look over that Wikipedia. Legal issues.
he filed a
Uh,
lawsuit seeking their accounts.
nope.
Misappropriated funds.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with some misappropriated
Yeah,
funds.
my guy. He's awesome in this movie, and it's he who smelt it dealt it, he who denied it supplied it. This is where I learned these particular phrases. So if it's got to be blank check or Richie Rich for me, it's Richie Rich because I watched the shit. I owned Richie Rich.
I'll go Richie Rich as well. And I
Yeah,
might have to rewatch some of these movies when we actually do the final bracket of this.
yeah.
Um,
There. uh,
uh,
so we have
so I'd say that's adventure. I mean,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah. They play baseball, but it's not about baseball. You The Sandlot,
I mean,
obviously.
yeah, it has to.
It's almost the one. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
like
For like Three Ninjas in the Sandlot are right now. I think the two juggernauts in this. Like,
yeah,
the Sandlot is probably the most well-known, beloved, like this type of movie ever.
yeah, and it's actually like a lot of these. I don't know how good the movies are. Like Richie Rich is probably terrible, but The Sandlot is a legitimately good movie. Like
Yeah,
it's a great movie that also fits into this genre, and it has all the like you get into the adventure part of it whenever they're like trying to get the ball back, and they're doing the erector
yeah.
set and they're doing all the Rube Goldberg
They
machines to
they
try to
have
get
their
it.
they have their own field that they can play at whenever they want. They
Yeah,
also have tree houses. Um, they a full like enough kids to play a full game. Like,
all the time. All the
oh
kids have a
man,
have a distinct personality.
yeah,
There's like the a big thing when I was a kid was the public pool. It's got the whole thing with the pool and
hmm
like Winnie Peppercorn and all that stuff. Like it's just everybody knows the stuff that's in this movie, and
yeah. And I don't think any of these movies that I know of has a scene that hits home as hard as the fireworks, the 4th of July, playing baseball. You're
yeah,
at a neighborhood party, because that's something that used to happen as well. And you're playing, you can only play one night game a year, and it's because of all the fireworks, which is a ridiculous premise if you really think about it. How
right.
many goddamn fireworks does
Yeah,
this
you're
neighborhood
you're
buy?
you're losing the ball in the lights,
Yeah.
like or there's not fireworks every second of the thing.
That's what
So
I'm saying. How
yeah,
many fireworks did these people buy to be able to light up the town so much that they could play baseball?
like is it Jesse who's the pitcher? Is that his
Benny the
name?
Jet Rodriguez. Oh, Jesse, yeah. The pitcher is it Denunez?
Yeah, yeah. And it's
I
like
think it's
whenever he
Denunez.
throws the vaunted fastball that he's known for, and it's suddenly dark and it beans one of those kids in the head.
Yeah.
Like
And
that's what's really gonna happen.
it kills Tommy Timmons.
Yeah. um all right, well, you said you watched it a few weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah, it's dead.
I have nothing
Um
but fond memories of it. what do we think of the Little Giants?
Bro, it's so good. Like it's not it's not it's not 94, bro. Like all of these movies,
Yeah,
like The Sandlot was 93.
yeah.
This is crazy. I didn't
I,
realize that they were all made in the
it's all
span of
one.
3 years.
It's all one run, dude.
That blows my mind, to be honest. Man, Little Big League is, the joke writing's really good. The story is pretty cool. I didn't really particularly myself watching it the other day. I don't care that Icebox has a crush on
Devin
Junior
Sawa.
Floyd, Devin Sawa.
Yeah.
Because I mean, don't we all have a crush on Devin Sawa, right? But I really like. I didn't care about that. It makes me uncomfortable to watch 12-year-olds in love. Like that's a weird thing for me. Like
Yeah, that's a subplot. It's
Yeah,
but
but Rick Moranis is Rick Moranis, and Ed O'Neill is Ed O'Neill, and the little kid Spike is very funny. He just talks.
that he's got the refrigerator strapped to his back when he moves to town.
yeah.
The-
And his dad puts his arm on like something at their junkyard, and the kid just starts doing pull-ups on his dad's arm.
the kid who has the jelly sandwich, the peanut butter and
Yeah.
jelly sandwich in his helmet.
Dude, that line, he goes peanut butter jelly sandwich, and he goes, what are those? Cheetos, crunchy or puffed? Puffed. Wimp. He's a wimp because he's got puffed Cheetos, which is true.
Yeah, well, and they
I feel
scratch
like
your
you are
mouth.
a wimp if you get puffed Cheetos.
They mess up the roof of your mouth. Not to besmirch the good people at Cheeto, but the puffs aren't for me.
Who buys puffs? But fun. It's a funny movie, man. There's a lot of really good jokes. The little turd kid, the little weenie kid who is
the annexation of
baby.
Yeah, there's
kid.
that kid. Yeah,
there's the nerd kid, which is a great trope. I love the nerd kid. And they just made him just the most stereotypical nerd kid. Like they don't even try to like make it subtle. He wears suspenders.
I think he was the same character in Boy Meets World. I think
no.
Is that a different kid?
It looks like him, but it's a different kid. I believe that's a different kid. Finkus, I think, is his name on.
That's right.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But that kid looks like Paige Van Zandt. It's very funny. But so that's good. But no, the kid who his mom like sends him with a mattress wrapped around him. And
the kid with the big glasses.
Yeah, he's got the snot bubble when they first see him.
Yeah. And he's got the ball and he doesn't know what to do, so he runs the other way to avoid being tackled. Yeah,
and he's like, a kid gets hit and he's like, Spike knocked him all the way back to second grade. He's like, did I pass the spelling test?
What is it? Football's 80% mental, 40% physical.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. It's 80% intent.
They've got a cool spot where like, and this is just kid dream stuff. John Madden and Michael Irving and like a couple other Emmitt Smith.
Yeah.
They're trying to make it to Canton, Ohio, where the Hall of Fame is, and they ask the kids for directions.
Right.
And they get him to come to practice, and they train him and teach him up a little bit about how to play football.
High out of his mind on cocaine, Michael Irvin,
yeah.
In this children's movie, yeah. I also remember this one has another one of the inspirational speeches at halftime.
Oh yeah,
it's like all you have to do is beat them one time, and each kid has a story where they beat their bully or their older brother or something just once. And
they just keep going one time.
Yeah, all it takes is one time.
I forgot about
that.
I didn't get to that part when I watched it the other day. I forgot about that.
Whenever Ed O'Neill is chasing, or Ed O'Neill and Rick Moranis both are trying to recruit Spike.
Yeah,
to their
and
team.
Rick Moranis is on the go-kart.
Yeah,
Ed O'Neill's in like a Corvette.
And Rick Moranis flies over the railroad tracks just in time.
Yeah,
and it cuts off Ed O'Neill. As a kid, I was like, that's cool as shit.
Well, that movie is kind of why we're doing why I thought about doing this is because the big thing, and I actually forgot to mention this in the heavyweights, go-karts. Because like the one thing that a lot of these movies have is the cool kid has like some weird form of transportation. You know,
Yeah.
we didn't mention in Three Ninjas. There's a really cool BMX bike part where they're like hitting jumps and stuff.
Oh yeah, they're better at BMX biking because of their ninja skills.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But in the Little Giants, Icebox has a go-kart, and she's getting chased by the kids that actually made the team that they were trying to get on, and she's like knocking them into the river with their go-kart, and she bumps one in the back tire, and then the other one she's got like a raccoon tail on her antenna
Yeah,
thing on
yeah.
the back of her thing. She puts it in his face, and then he falls into the bushes, and like go-karts were immediately made everything cooler
That's right, because Icebox doesn't make Ed O'Neill's team,
because
and
she's a
that's why.
girl.
Right, and that's why Rick Moranis, who's her dad, has to form the Little Giants.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I think Little Giants goes on there. That's
Yeah, I
like
think we got to put Little Giants
a
on there.
quintessential one. But the reason in my mind all these movies exist is because of the number one uh kid adventure movie of all time, Home Alone. All these are because of Home Alone.
Yeah, and did we have a Home Alone conversation last night? I think we did.
We did, because it's like that's another one of those ultimate kid dreams.
Yeah.
Everybody's gone. It's just you. You have the whole house. You can have the whole cheese pizza to yourself and watch like 40s gangster movies,
Yep.
in the house. You can go mess with your brother's tarantula and find the picture of his girlfriend and all this
Yeah,
shit.
and
And then
Kevin
you beat
McAllister was the coolest kid in the world.
yeah, uh and then you beat the bad guys at the end,
Yeah.
through a series of traps that, as we discussed, might kill Harry and Lloyd,
What
or Harry and
It would have been funny if the robbers were Harry and Lloyd.
yeah.
That would have been funny. Also 1993 Dumb and
No,
Dumber?
yeah, 93 is Dumb and Dumber. 90 is Home Alone.
Okay.
And so I think it's like yeah, and it made $1 billion,
Yeah,
so
it
they're
made a
like,
lot of money.
okay, this is, and then they never made one that's as good as Home Alone or hit like Home Alone, but they just kept making these for like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of these movies more than I like Home Alone, to be honest. But none of them are like they don't reach the level of like iconic. Like
Yeah.
I loved this movie. We can't put it on the list because it's not very like big. There was a movie called Remote. Did you ever see that one?
I never saw Remote.
It's like 1993. God damn it. It's a video. It's a movie. It's on YouTube right now.
Okay.
But it's just about a kid who has like a bunch of remote control cars and helicopters and like stuff like that, and he has to fight robbers with all of his remote control stuff. And he's like a smart little kid, like a
Yeah.
It is very much a Home Alone type movie, but obviously I can't put it on this list. Nobody has seen Remote.
Yeah. It's Harry
Here's
and
the
Marv, just so that Jacob won't yell at me later.
it is
The
Harry and
Roberts are
Marv.
Harry and Marv.
Here's the
No, I've never seen this movie.
Yeah, dude, I loved this movie.
There's
I watched
one.
the first like 10 minutes of it on YouTube the other day,
Yeah.
and it's really, really, really bad.
Yeah.
There's the mean jock kid, by the way.
Of course. Well, most of these have to have one of those.
Yeah, and our hero is this dork looking kid right here.
Did you ever see? Did you guys do it for the movie podcast? Airborne. Did you ever do? Did you
No,
ever
I
see
never saw
Airborne?
it. I never saw
Okay,
Airborne.
that's. I don't think it counts for this because I think they're like in high school. But that's a like, oh, there's BMX biking and rollerblading, and a kid moves from California to Ohio, and Seth Green's his cousin, and then he, the cool kid hates him, and
The
then it's
the tagline
yeah, man,
on this Mitchell became the most popular guy on earth once he took to the sky.
Hell yeah, dude. And and to settle his score with the bully, his team of racers has to take on the bully's team of racers down the Devil's Backbone, which is like, the racing.
It's the world's only rock and rollerblade movie.
It's
Ugh.
yeah, it's like I loved that movie, but it's really terrible. And the another one that was on the line for me, I don't know if it counts, but I have to shout it out, is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie.
Yeah, well, I remember seeing it. I don't remember it. That's another
Oh
one I don't
man.
remember. Yeah. I loved the Power Rangers.
When I was 10 years, you couldn't tell me there was a cooler thing than the Power Rangers. I'd been primed my whole life for Power Rangers, and I was
Yeah.
like the exact right age for that to hit. And then the movie came out. They have to fight a guy named Ivan Ooze,
Hell yeah,
who's
dude.
who brainwashes all the parents in town to like dig up his old, robots that he
Yeah.
can take over with. So now all the adults are working for the bad guy, so it's up to the Power Rangers alone. And they have to go to like another planet to learn a new skill, and then they get to be the Ninja Rangers. They have new
Jesus.
Zords. I watched this movie so much whenever I was like 10 and 11 years old.
Do you think we put it on? The thing is, I'm down to like go back and watch Rad. I don't think I'm gonna watch this Power Rangers movie.
Yeah,
after this.
I don't, and I don't know that it exactly fits, because again, they're teens or whatever. That's why,
Yeah.
but they're like rollerblading to the Red Hot Chili Peppers version of Higher Ground in this
Hell
movie.
yeah, dude.
And like,
That's sick.
yeah, there's a part where one of the Rangers, everybody gets a new animal that's like their spirit animal, right?
Mhm.
And Adam, who's the Black Ranger at this point, his is a frog. And in the theater, he goes, "My animal's a frog." And I thought, oh man, that's the funniest
He
line.
got fucked. Get
Yeah.
fucked, Adam.
Oh man, it's
You
so
piece of
funny.
shit. I
Yeah.
would hate for my animal to be a frog. That's not
Everybody
a cool...
else got something cool. And you got a frog.
Okay, well, what do you think? On the probables? Put it in the
Yeah,
probable bucket?
it should go on the probables.
What about and I'm glad I see this movie on the list, so I assume that we talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued at the prospect of adding Big.
You really wanted...
Did I ride hard for Big last night?
Yeah, but I think the thing is, it's not this kind of movie. He becomes an adult, and then he's an adult doing kid things, but it's not
Go ahead, sorry.
I guess it's like a kind of wish fulfillment for a kid to,
because it's like it's almost like it's not Blank Check, but it's almost like Blank Check, where like you get the freedom of an adult, but you still
Right.
have the spirit of a child. So like he got to bang, dude.
Well, I think that's the other part, is I think there's a lot of dramatic things in this movie that aren't in a piece with the other things that we're doing.
I think it's a different spirit. The movie's a different spirit, but I do think it kind of like it does like it is wish fulfillment. It is like he gets to work at a toy company.
Right.
He gets this badass apartment. His apartment was super cool, and he had a giant trampoline in his apartment.
Yeah, he gets to play piano on the big rollout piano.
Yeah,
but I think it was worth the convo, but I don't think that to me at least, it's not of a piece of these
I'm okay with
other
that.
movies.
I'm okay with that.
We also talked about Space Jam.
Yeah.
But Space Jam to me it's a kids movie, but it's not a movie where there are kids as the leads, because it's Michael Jordan and the Looney Tunes versus the Monstars. Like,
it is Michael Jordan and the Looney. What about Like Mike then?
I never watched Like Mike. That's way too late in the game for me.
Yeah, I don't think I'd put Like Mike on there. I think Like Mike counts.
Yeah, Light Mike
Uh,
is kind of like this, yeah. But my cutoff point was they made a Kid in King Arthur's Court like remake that was modern in like
I remember that
1990,
being made, but I never watched it.
like 96 or 97, and I watched that and I was like, you know what? I don't think that I'm not in anymore for these movies.
What about the Little Monsters?
We could I I never saw Little Monsters, I don't think.
Oh shit. I
Yeah.
fucking loved that movie. I think
I
it was probably from Jacob. Jacob probably showed me the Little
I was
Monsters.
probably afraid because it was, like
It's creepy.
demons. Yeah.
It's not necessary. It's not really demons. They're just monsters. So it's Howie
But
Fred Savage.
an evangelical kid growing up, show me the difference between monsters and demons. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
thankfully my mom let me watch it for
Yeah.
sure. But Fred Savage discovers that there's a monster that keeps sneaking out from under his bed at night, and he figures out how to trap it.
Ah, I see.
And the monster is Howie Mandel.
Yeah,
Obviously,
I'm looking at it right now. That's pretty like
this
I
is
would
the
have
monster.
yeah, that would have freaked me out when I was a kid for sure.
Well, and then what happens is he realizes that under his bed is like a portal to the monster world. And it's a whole world of monsters. Like,
Right.
but it's like a badass, like they gamble and like it's like an underworld of monsters
It's a
that he has
cool
to.
world. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he has to like it's got this guy who I would have never in a million years been able to guess this guy's name. This guy apparently he's dead. That sucks. Look, I'll show you. This guy, bro, from the Burbs.
Oh yeah. What's that
That
guy's
guy.
name?
Rick Ducommun. Rick Ducommun.
He's a Ducommun.
He's a Ducommun of the Ducommun family. But yeah, there's like an underworld, and then there's like Daniel Stern's in it too. Hell yeah. There's like a bad monster that what happens? Something happens where Fred Savage has to help the good monsters defeat the bad monster.
Right. I mean, if you want to put it on the list, like I'm totally fine with that. I don't have anything
I think it goes in the maybe bucket
to add to it.
I don't know. I don't know that it necessarily deserves like to be in the same conversation as like stinking Mighty Ducks Part 2. You know what I mean? But I think The Little Monsters was a great. Ben Savage also in the movie, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Brothers. They got both Savage brothers.
They got them both.
But
one we haven't
movie.
one that didn't even make my list. I didn't even think about it, but I know we both loved this movie when we were kids. Man of the House, dude.
Yeah, I know. I just don't know if it's. I don't know if those movies are like part of the lexicon enough. You know.
Well, they do have to go on an adventure with the the Native American, the Awanas tribe or whatever. Like that's a big part of the movie. Is they
he has to go on like a spirit adventure or something. What is it called?
Like they go on a big camping trip. Jonathan Taylor Thomas has to Chevy Chase is like a lawyer or something, and the guys that he convicted are after him now, and they go after him during the camping trip, and then the Ranger tribe has to save everybody.
God, I just don't remember a lot of things from when I was a kid. Like I watched this movie 1,000 times, and I just don't remember
all those concussions.
Dude, I did hit my head quite a few times, and it has a 13% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, it's not good, but I like maybe it's not enough kid adventure movie, in the same way. Because that's not like it's part of the plot, but it's not the real thing. Is the tension between Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Chevy Chase? Over
and I loved that. I loved the movie. I just don't know if it has that same spirit. Like, I always, for some reason, Man of the House and Jungle to Jungle are like kissing cousins.
Yeah, they go together, and I wouldn't put Jungle to Jungle on here.
No.
So I guess that Man of the House is a similar thing. So where are we at on the final list?
So we've got Three Ninjas, The Goonies, Heavyweights, Richie Rich, Home Alone, Rad, Mighty Ducks Part 2, Rookie of the Year, The Sandlot, and The Little Giants. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sports movies, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 adventure movies. So we need one more of each.
Okay.
I gotta really think about, like, am I missing a sports movie? There's like The Big Green. Shout out to Steve Guttenberg.
Yeah, so I wasn't allowed to watch The Big Green because they use a Ouija board in it. By
Is there a
mom.
Ouija board in that movie?
Yeah, for like, it's literally on screen for like 5
In
seconds.
the Big Green?
Yeah, they're just at like one of the kids' houses and they're playing it for like a minute, and then as soon as my mom saw it, it was like, no, that can't be on here. But then we'd watch The Beastmaster, which has all kinds of magic and shit in it, and that was fine. Or James Bond, noted womanizer / murderer, and that's totally cool. He doesn't ever use a Ouija board, so
that's why I do not remember there being an Ouija board in The Big Green, the soccer movie.
What about we at the very end of our conversation, right as the train was going over the cliff, you did throw out the parachute Jumanji.
I do have every once in a while some moments of clarity.
Yeah. I think Jumanji is a great shout out for this list because it is like Robin Williams is the star of this movie, but it has the kids, Peter and somebody else. I can't remember the other kid's name. It's Kirsten Dunst is Judy. And like when I was a kid, I thought like there's nothing so stupid. It's like there'd be nothing cooler than if Jumanji happened to me, and I like elephants running through. There's a huntsman after me trying to murder me. But
God damn it, I wish Jumanji would happen.
Yeah, I wish there were alligators and a giant fucking scorpion bird that shot a barb into my neck. Like, but this is like a big time. This was like a big kid adventure movie for me.
Yeah.
Unless you think it's not like, because it is about Robin Williams.
Yeah, I just don't know if it's the same vein, because it's almost like Jurassic Park is the same.
Yeah, like
there's kids in that too,
right? And Hook is kind of the same deal where there's all the Lost Boys, but it's about it's
about Robin Williams.
Yeah.
I had one pop into my head and leave, and I can't remember what it was.
I think you haven't seen this. We talked about it a little bit last night, but Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
I saw it as a kid. I don't remember.
Yeah, that's another one where it's like, oh man, could you imagine like how weird it would be if you had like a kick-ass adventure in your front lawn, but you were tiny, so it seemed crazy to you. Like
but you were tiny. So.
Yeah, like they befriend an ant in this movie, and then the ant gets killed by a scorpion in one of the truly most devastating things that happened to me as a kid, where I was watching this thing being like, no, and then there's the scene with and it's like the two cool kids who live next door and the two nerdy kids, but they end up having to like team up because they all get shrunk and are put in the lawn.
Yeah, I just don't remember enough of it. I don't remember I love Rick Moranis. I know that big Rick Moranis guy.
Yeah.
What about
always more Moranis?
I'm trying to think if there's any there's got to be like a sports one that I'm missing or something like. Oh, Harriet the Spy. My sister loved that movie.
Yeah,
that's a cool kid movie. The Little Rascals. There's not really they're not really cool. Well, they do have a go-kart. I mean, a derby.
Yeah,
pushcart derby.
And they've got and they're they're little like they're running grifts and shit. So they're like what about Angels in the Outfield?
Yeah, see, I was thinking about that.
But that's not real.
Um,
I guess it's about
it's about the
the
baseball team, kind of though. You know, the
yeah.
kids. Nothing cool happens to the kids. The cool thing happens to the
Well,
baseball
I mean,
team.
they get to learn that God is real, so that's a cool thing that
That
happens
is a
to them.
pretty cool thing.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what?
That
God damn it, it is pretty
that
cool.
turns out to be the case. Like I would love to put Cool Runnings in here, but that's a movie for kids. That's not about you
There's
know.
yeah, there's not a single kid in that movie, but yeah,
Well,
I would agree with you.
there's the little kid who's keeping track of the times in Jamaica.
Oh yeah,
You
that's
know,
true.
there's that guy.
Little kid with a stopwatch.
Yeah,
He carries the whole movie. I think I don't know. Let me look at what we've got here. I think what's our probable. Our probable's got little big league in it. I think little big league counts. That gives us 1, 2, 3 baseball movies, but I think
but that's also for the time, you know, and
that's what
also
we were.
given the stuff that we both have watched because I never watched The Big Green, so I don't have any
God, the Big Green's fucking good,
like
but
I don't
yeah,
have any nostalgia for it. So
it's got
it's
it's
got the
got
ham,
it's got Hamilton the Babe, it's got Long Ball Porter in it, dude.
yeah.
But
I remember
it's also
because
got Bug Hall.
he's on the cover going whoa.
Yeah, getting hit in the nuts by a ball. Basically, it's
Yeah,
got Bug Hall, who played Alfalfa
yeah. Who you say
in
is my childhood doppelganger?
dude. Yeah, you as a kid you did look a lot like Bug Hall. You
Yeah,
really did. Um, and like I said, it's got Gutenberg. But I so
because there's also like the Karate Kid, but those are teenagers, so it's not like a kids movie, you know.
and
But
that one
it's
also missed me. I don't know. I think Rad is teenagers too, though.
yeah, but I'm thinking that we put Rad in as the Jacob pick, you know,
I'm definitely
in
cool
a
with that. Like, I'm
yeah.
definitely cool with Rad being in. I'm just saying, like, I think it's also well, yeah. I mean, I was gonna say maybe Back to the Future, but yeah, I don't think that's a kid movie.
Yeah, well, and it's
Um,
not like a team. Like I think part of it too is that these movies had like whether they were the adventure movie or the sports movie, it was like a team has to, you know, get together and conquer something, you know. Cuz
how
like
about how about Simon Birch, huh?
I mean, he does have to overcome some stuff. Old Simon
The
Birch.
Indian in the cupboard.
Yeah, but that's just, you know, that's more the years long struggle between Native Americans and cowboys.
That's true.
That's what's playing out in this.
Tales old as time.
Yeah, the Hatfields and the McCoys.
God damn it, I loved that movie.
Uh,
um,
yeah. So
y-
I think Little Big League goes in.
yeah, I think we put Little Big League in.
You know,
Um,
and so does that fill out the sports side of the
that fills out sports. That fills out sports. That's gonna be that sports bracket's gonna be tough. And then we need another adventure, which we have Surf Ninjas in our pocket.
right?
We've got the Wizard, um, which I haven't seen.
Right.
So I'm if you think we should throw the Wizard in there, I'm down throwing the Wizard in there. But we can also do Surf Ninjas. Um, hmm. There's like I'm trying to think if there's like another big adventure movie that we're missing, like Tom and Huck.
Yeah.
Remember Tom and Huck?
Me and my mom almost walked out of that movie because at the beginning there's some voodoo in old Tom and Huck. But
Oh man, I
I
love that.
think since we paid for Tom and Huck at the movie theater, a
You're
little
staying.
yeah, there's a little bit of wiggle room given. Um, yeah, I mean, there's the Parent Trap, but that's not
Yeah,
yeah,
I
like
don't think that one really counts. It's broads.
yeah.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
My girl, he can't see without his glasses.
Can't see that his glasses. Very funny that he dies getting killed by
Yeah.
bees.
Uh, but that's again, that's more of a drama about a kid who lives at a mortuary and
Good
who,
music in My Girl though.
yeah, who then meets a kid who then finally has a friend and then he dies tragically of too many bees. Uh, So many bees.
Fucking stupid bee magnet kid.
Yeah.
Homeward Bound.
Peter.
Peter. Shadow. Peter.
There's on Shrinking, the Apple Plus series that I've been watching. One of the characters is named Peter, and every time that they're like, "What are you gonna do about it, Peter?" I think of Shadow. Peter.
Peter.
uh, there's like the Never-Ending Story, but that's
I,
not.
I also had yeah, I don't think that's a good movie, but it doesn't count. I thought about the Santa Claus
Yeah,
because
but
there's
that
two reasons for that. But
okay.
first, I would not put this one in because I hate that kid. Like that kid stinks. He's very annoying and he's a bad actor.
Uh,
But when they break Santa out of jail, and there's the elf, like the elves that show up that can fly and like open things with tinsel and stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Those are the coolest goddamn kids I've ever seen in my life when I was younger. But
Well,
yeah.
yeah, I think that's more about Tim Allen than it is.
Yeah, and Charlie stinks, so I'm not,
Right.
I
Yeah, so
guess I
I,
mean,
I think I think it's Surf Ninjas.
you think it's Surf Ninjas?
If we're going more off of stuff that we both seen, because like uh I think that's more where we end up.
Okay, we'll go with Surf Ninjas, and then we'll open it like there's a chance we might, because there's we're gonna talk.
We might get some feedback.
Yeah, with the
Yeah,
bad
yeah.
the bad songs list. Um, I think we should replace Porn Star Dancing. Not because
It's not bad
it's not a bad song. Porn
because
Star Dancing, awful song.
it is truly one of the worst songs I've ever heard.
It's really, really bad. It's very, very bad. But nobody knows about that song.
Sure.
It's not a very big song, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So like I think we need to consider maybe replacing that song with something outside of like one of the genres, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I would consider
we'll
that.
talk.
Yeah.
We'll talk.
Okay, so what's our rundown? What's the full bracket now?
Okay, so we've got on the adventure side, Three Ninjas, The Goonies, Heavyweights, Richie Rich, Home Alone, Surf Ninjas.
Okay,
And then
strong.
on the sports side, we've got Rad, Mighty Ducks Part 2, Rookie of the Year, The Sandlot, The Little Giants, and Little Big Leap.
Okay, so I think for the buys in round 1,
how many get buys? Is it 4?
4. So 2 to each side.
I think Three Ninjas for sure.
I think Three Ninjas and The Goonies, it seems like, would probably be the two strongest movies.
And The Sandlot and Mighty Ducks Part 2?
And Mighty Ducks Part 2, yeah.
Okay.
Those are the juggernauts.
Yeah, this can be a tough bracket for the other movies. But I'm gonna have to watch Rad.
Yeah.
And I might have to rewatch Richie Rich.
I'm gonna have to maybe I don't even know. Like Richie Rich seems like a thing that fell into like a cultural void. Like is Richie Rich the movie streaming anywhere?
I don't know. I don't know if it is.
Like I don't know who made it. I don't know.
It might be a Disney movie.
It might have been. It's on Netflix, dude.
Hell yeah, dude. Of
Hell
course
yeah.
it is. Yeah, so, not a Disney movie.
Yeah, that's the end. Whenever the end of that movie is that John Larroquette has, I think, the kids and Richie Rich up on the Mount Rushmore, and they're trying to shoot lasers at the because they use the laser carving thing to make the faces.
They're screwing up the mountain.
Yeah, they blow off the dad's nose.
Yeah,
or something like that. Yeah, so I'm happy with the list. I think we did a lot of. I think we talked about a lot of movies. The Wizard. I'm sad to not see it in the main thing, but it's
like I said, I'm willing to entertain that. I'm not shooting that one down because I haven't seen it.
No, it's also mostly a commercial. Like there's a lot of that movie where it's them just playing Nintendo, and it's like Nintendo on the screen.
Yeah, Jacob's talked about that too. I might try to twist Jacob's arm to get him on this episode
in the final talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna get real mad when we put anything over Rad, but it's gonna.
Hey,
we'll see.
if Rad holds up, because I'll watch Rad.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it for sure.
Yeah, I gotta watch it. I have to tell you, I don't know if you remember, you were writing really hard for the movie Brain Scan last night.
I'm not surprised I rode for it, but I'm surprised I rode really hard for it.
You were like, dude, Brain Scan, and I'm like, that's a sci-fi horror movie. And you were like, but the kid has a cool video game room.
Kid's got a cool room.
Yeah, but like that movie's insane. If you've never seen Brain Scan, that's one of the weirdest movies that I've ever seen. It's got Edward Furlong after Terminator 2, and it's got Frank Langella, and it's like a kid goes into an alternate dimension, but it's a video game, and then I think there's like a murder in the video game world, and the kid wakes up and he's like, he doesn't know if he really killed anybody or not. It's crazy.
What's not to like, dude?
Yeah.
He does have a cool room though.
Right. Same vibes as Heavyweights, you know. The exact same vibes. Do you want to hit the dozen and we can
Yeah.
we can
I
get out of here?
I had to eat a cookie because my blood sugar just plummeted.
A medicinal cookie?
Might be related to all of the booze that I drank last night.
Right.
This is the Dozen Daily Trivia. It's made by Barstool Sports. First 3 questions are going to be about sports. The rest are about general American culture. We got NFL, NBA, MLB. 9 is on the table.
9 is on the board. Let's
NFL. 2 wide receivers caught more than 50 touchdown passes from Aaron Rodgers. Devontae Adams and this now retired wide receiver. I should know this.
I want to say Donald Driver, but I know that's wrong because he played mostly with Brett Favre.
Did they have like a Greg Jennings?
Yeah, they did have Greg Jennings. I think he played with Rodgers.
Wrong. Fuck.
8.
I don't know. 8's on the table. NBA. Undrafted and initially joining the team on a 10-day contract, Langston Galloway earned 2015 NBA All-Rookie honors while playing for this Eastern Conference team. Dusty?
I always just put the Atlanta Hawks, if I don't know. Sometimes it's the Atlanta Hawks. Yep.
MLB. Justin Duchscherer was an all-star in 2005 as a reliever and in 2008 as a starting pitcher while playing for this American League team.
Andrew.
Oh, man. The A's?
They are in the American League.
The team that popped up first in my head was the A's. Also, the White Sox had popped up in my head, but I really don't know. Like, this is a guess. I nailed it. Holy shit.
Oh!
It was the A's. Wow.
The champ.
Retail and shopping. It's actually surprising how good I do at baseball with this. When like I'll watch the dozen because they have the show. They do it.
Mm-hmm.
And they have like baseball gurus, and I'll be screaming, "It's Maglio Ordonez, you bitch!" But it's a very specific time frame that I know a lot about.
Yeah.
Retail and shopping. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's a partial slogan for what credit card company?
Is that
MasterCard?
MasterCard, I think.
I think it's MasterCard.
For some reason, I want to say American Express, but I think MasterCard.
Hell yeah. Celebrity mashup.
Oh,
goddamn! That is Chris Martin and Reba McEntire, right?
Sure, they've done a disservice to both of those people.
That one hurts
with that mashup.
That one hurts.
I believe
that is Chris Martin and Reba McEntire, though.
I thought Chris Martin was like a pretty attractive dude.
He is.
I guess, yeah. Well,
I mean, Reba's face doesn't work inside of his.
Yeah, it's more the mashup. Hell yeah, dude.
Chain restaurants. The Shamrock Shake is a popular seasonal item from what major chain? Is that McDonald's?
That is McDonald's.
Hell
it's getting to be Shamrock Shake time again.
Macadonald's. What does it taste like? Is it mint?
Yeah, it's minty. It's like, it's green.
Television. Debuting in 2017, Young Sheldon was a prequel series of what Emmy-nominated sitcom?
Of course, the greatest show of all time.
The greatest show. Never been a better show.
Never been a better show. The Big Bang Theory.
God, I love canned laughter. Movies. This woman won her second Best Actress Oscar for her role as Maggie Fitzgerald in the 2004 film $1 Million Baby.
Oh, that is Hilary Swank.
Is it 1L?
Possibly.
Yes, it is. Music. This alternative rock band is most known for their 1997 hit song Sex and Candy.
They were hanging around downtown by themselves.
The Marcy Playground.
That's Marcy Playground, yeah.
Hey, not bad, dude.
Dude.
We'll double dip and try the... I'm trying to think if I can think of this freaking guy. Anyway, I'm going to do just a random... Miami Heat. Wrong.
Good. Look, dude, 7 on a hangover. That's
dude.
pretty good.
Yeah, dude. That's New York Knicks and Jordy Nelson. Jordy Nelson, we should have got. But yeah, not bad. So we're okay with 7.
I forgot he existed. Yeah, 7's good. Thank you everybody who listens. We appreciate it. Yeah. Hit us up with anything that you think we missed in the bracket. I think we were pretty thorough. I was looking through IMDb, and all the suggested titles for all the movies we had talked about were more of the movies that we had talked about. So,
yeah. I think we did a pretty good job of curating this list,
of exhausting the list. So, but we appreciate everybody who listens. Thank you so much. Like Andrew said, hit us up on the socials. We appreciate you. This is the hangover game, but we still got 7 out of 9. Snart marks forever.
Imagine once I get sober, boys.
Snart marks never die, just like the Goonies.
All right.